I also I fell in love with every single artist who's in the Scribe, but they would only give me 20 to 30 minutes to talk to you tonight, and I'm not going to hold you hostage for 2 hours. But here's another favorite of mine, which is the work of Mordechai Adel. Look at this tremendous scene. The Hebrew letters of gold, the grapes in Chanukiah, in what I took as the walled city of Jerusalem. It's a magnificent painting full of detail and feeling. And Adele, as we heard Carol talk about him, he's mostly self-taught. And he told the Scribe that yellow is his favorite color because it's the color of hope and sunshine. And here in this painting, it's the color of gold, and it made me think of Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem of gold. And it's also the color of flowers and fire, the sun, the moon, it's everything. So sometimes an artist's Jewish background might not be that evident in their work on the surface, but it can be there if you delve a little deeper. So this amazing multimedia sculpture by Susie Burstein, who's a Vancouver artist, is called You Light My Dark. And it's part of her series that she named Tzipora. Tzipora is Susie's Hebrew name, and her series Tzipora, A Place to Land, is informed by her knowledge of Judaism. She learned Torah and Bible stories growing up, and then brought her own interpretations to what she learned in her formal education. So Tzipora in Hebrew, many of you will know, means bird. And so you can see birds in these pieces, such as this one that has found a place to land on this very interesting figure in a pink tutu and a crown made of flowers. I think they're Royal Dalton flowers, yeah. I just love that piece. Also, these trees, look at them. This is a work by Linda Diane Frimmer. It's called Sacred Grove, and it reminded me instantly of a different female BC artist. Any guesses? Yes, Emily Carr. It didn't exactly scream Jewish to me, but I again started thinking about what is important to Jews. Nature is sacred to us. And in her interview with the magazine, Linda said this: I overheard my family's whispered stories of the Holocaust and loss when I was very young and felt a responsibility that I didn't understand. I was highly sensitive and absorbed their fear, pain, and sorrow, yet didn't know the context. It affected my spirit. Throughout my life, I've tried to elevate the spirit of Jewish people, the nobility and dignity of who we are, in my own small ways through my art. This elevates my spirit. And trust me, it's not so easy to elevate my spirit. The Scribe asked each artist about their connection to Judaism. You'll see it when you see the magazine. And there were quite a few responses that indicated that their artwork isn't about their Judaism. It can still seep in and have an impact. So for instance, this is Denman Island artist Cynthia Minden, and when she was asked about this, she said, my artwork has not been influenced by Judaism. However, our story, our history, and our culture form who we are and carry us into the world. So what we're curious about and how we view our world is reflected by heritage. My approach to life was certainly shaped by my upbringing. So in my opinion, it seems impossible for an artist to completely sever their approach to life and their approach to art. And if we're Jewish, that's part of our life. So when Vancouver artist Mia Weinberg was asked this question, she talked about being raised in a secular household, feeling uncomfortable about taking Jewish holidays off school, especially since her parents didn't believe in God. But she also mentioned her Fractured Legacy exhibition, which she said was obviously completely based on her being Jewish. And the works for Fractured Legacy, they were made in the 1990s when she was at what is now Emily Carr University. But much more recently, the pieces were installed for an exhibition in Werther, Germany, and that's the town where her father was born. So one work, 44 Ravensburger Strasse, for that work, Weinberg assembled images of her grandmother's house, but there's no position you can look at this assemblage that allows you to see the images all lined up. And Weinberg said, she told the Alumni Association at Emily Carr that it's incomplete, just as my knowledge is. What I've learned of this house is mediated through generations and the loss of concrete memories, as they are not my own, but what my father passed down to me. So we're looking at a different image. This is called The Road Less Traveled. But knowing what Weinberg said about that other work makes me see this work in a different way, whether or not that it was the artist's intention. So this is a beautiful work by Susie Naylor, who is based in Roberts Creek. And she, again, told the Scribe she doesn't use Jewish themes, but Judaism influences me, and then my art comes from that. Parts of Judaism are at the core of what I'm about, such as that God is one, and everything and everyone are connected. I believe in tikkun olam, to take care of ourselves, to repair the world. And this is a beautiful world we are looking at here in this painting called Golden Afternoon. She wasn't the only artist to mention tikkun olam. Jessica Friedman was another. She was born in Montreal. She's based in Souk now, and she says, she said, being Jewish affects my artwork, but not by using obvious Jewish themes. In my heart, I know that what I'm painting is Jewish-inspired and includes tikkun olam, recognizing the unity of people and Hashem, who together are meant to light the world. And this piece is called Delightful, and I think it's full of light. Quite a few artists spoke about the environment, which for me is inextricably connected to the idea of a higher power of God, of this world that we are lucky to inhabit. Vancouver artist Barbara Heller told the Scribe that while her older artwork focused at times on Jewish themes, such as these works that I'm showing because I love them so much, that she currently focuses on how we treat each other as human beings in the environment. These are called Left Window and Right Window, and I just had to show them tonight. This is a work by Vancouver artist Laurie Goldberg. Now, she has portrayed Judaica in some of her art, but more recently has been focusing on the environment, such as in this extraordinary painting, Take Out the Trash. So I was looking at my little magazine, trying to identify individual items, like was there a Kiddush cup in there, or candlesticks. I wasn't able to, but the experience made me think about all the possessions we have, how they might be sacred to us, but at the same time, just a pile of garbage to the world. And I thought about the things we throw out, especially after someone has died and we need to deal with all their belongings. So at Pesach, I used my mother's china and crystal, which is something I almost never do, even though I paid a fortune to have it shipped across the country so I could keep it. And I became very anxious thinking about what will happen to these precious items after I'm gone. So looking at this painting reminded me of that. I learned so much from reading these artist interviews, and you will too, not just about the artists themselves, but about related topics. So I've got one more work I want to show you. Look how Jack Rootman can paint a body. Look at that. It's amazing, right? He's a physician, retired, who obviously knows about bodies, but this is something I learned from reading his interview, which is both fascinating and truly horrifying, that when he was studying medicine, learning anatomy came through a book called the Pernkopf Anatomy Atlas. And he stopped using that when he recognized that the cadavers being dissected for those drawings had come from people in the concentration camps. And would you believe that those books are still being used in some places? So that is a big discussion that needs to be had it another time. So I know that's a very dark example to end with, and I apologize. So let's just focus on the work because it's beautiful. But I wanted to demonstrate really how very vast and diverse Jewish influences can be on a Jewish artist's work. So they might be gorgeous paintings of the Red Sea or sorrowful depictions of shtetl life. And I just want to say, it's important to note that sorrow, if you're looking at a painting of a shtetl, doesn't necessarily emerge from what life was like in those shtetls, but in the knowledge we have of their destruction. Because when we look at a work of art, we don't just see what's in front of us. We bring to it all of our own stuff, our references, our experiences, our baggage, my mother's china. And so a work of art is a unique experience for each viewer. Jewish artists can't help but bring their Judaism into their work, and we as Jewish viewers of this work can't help but bring our background into the experience of looking at the work and how we read it, and it makes the experience all the richer. Thank you for being here tonight to support the Jewish Museum and Archives of BC. Thank you to everyone for this gorgeous issue of the Scribe, and a special thank you to all the artists for what you bring to this world. I don't know where we would be without you. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like I've been at an art class and just brilliant. When Marsha and I talked about the presentation this evening, we asked her to reflect on, those of us who interviewed particularly were reflecting on how much does personal history and culture affect art making. And we talked about, the topic being making art while Jewish. I think that she's done just a brilliant job of explaining to us the context of the art that we see, and certainly making me think differently about how I will look at art, as she has in other things she has written over the years. We are very indebted to you for what you said, for how you've helped us to, again, make even richer, even more rounded the things that we have put together. So on your behalf, I'd like to thank her again and give her own copy of the Scribe, as well as a copy of our book, our Looking Back, Moving Forward, our 160 years of Jewish life in BC.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
So this concludes the official presentations. Those of you that have bid on the art, you'll find the bid sheets will be posted on a bulletin board near the exit. And if you pick up your bid sheet, if you're the successful bidder, then you can pay for it and then go back and collect the art from Judith and her group who are managing the auction. Those of you that are members of the Jewish Museum and Archives, again, you are entitled to have a copy of the Scribe as part of your membership. Those of you that are not yet members, we would encourage you to join, and then you'll get a copy as members. If you prefer, you can buy a copy of the Scribe for $20. We would encourage you again to buy some for your family and friends. They really are a beautiful thing. Again, I want to thank you all for helping us to launch this latest Scribe and to re-enter, as Daniela said, to re-enter the world of connection, to re-enter the world of family and community. We've been distant from each other through the last 3 years, and it's so nice to see you all here and to be able to come together. And we look forward to seeing you at future events. There's still some food and drink at the back. Help yourselves. And again, please claim your things, those of you who are successful bidders. Thank you so much.